Test. Okay.
Welcome to today's postgame press conference. We have Coach David Shaw. Coach Shaw, an opening statement, please.
Thank you. I've never used excuses and won't start now. I've never been involved in a game where we lose 4 defensive starters on the opening drive. Prepare our backups to play, get them out there, try to get them going. But that was really difficult today. Really difficult. Because the only way to combat it is on the offensive side, right? We lack snaps, we lack experience, and some key positions, right? Jacob Megan-Farrar was out already as a senior and a leader for us in the linebacker room, and to lose 2 of our captains, both Levani and Ricky, and then one of the best leaders on our team, Patrick Fields. So to be without those guys was tough, and we needed the offense to cover for it. Bottom line, you can't lose 4 fumbles, in particular in a half. Turnovers, been hurting us all year, in particular fumbles, made it impossible today. The plays, the drives that we did not go backwards, we scored. Problem was there's only 2 of them. We had an opportunity late in the game, and the game was already decided. We expect more. I expect more. We need more. There are too many near misses in our passing game. Too many off the fingertips. Starting first drive against USC. Too many of our best players just not quite making it. Right. 4 more today. A little bit long, a little bit high, off the fingertips. 2 drops, 2 definite drops. Our best players on the offensive side need to pull us out. It's the bottom line. As always, we'll look at what we're doing and how we're doing it. I'm ultimately accountable for everything, obviously. That's the easy part. The hard part is drilling down and getting the most out of the guys that we have. Had a really nice stretch of 3 weeks playing really good football. And these last 2 weeks have not been our best football, not even close. Still glimpses. I still say, gosh, when we didn't go backwards, we didn't have penalties, we didn't miss blocks, we didn't miss throws, we didn't fumble the ball. Hey, we look like us, march down the field, score touchdowns. So, lots to clean up, lots to really look at. But it's not about scheme for us right now, it's about pride. Like I said, I'm ultimately responsible, but we have to play better, and our best players have to play better, and we got to put them in a better position to go out there and execute. When you're missing all of your running backs, and Brendan Barrow tried to come back today and didn't really have it, and eventually I just had to pull him out. We don't have the running backs. We get as much as we can out of the guys that went out there and played. But it's really we just need more out of our best players. And they have more to give, and got to make it happen. Difficult loss. It's going to be a difficult week of preparation. It's going to a hostile environment, and do we have the players to win? Absolutely, regardless of injury, we do. We got to go out there and execute. The plan's got to be great. The plan's got to be better than the plan we had today. And we have to play better than we played today. Take questions.
And Ashton Daniels, can you take us through the day for those 2 guys, both Mitch Lieber and Ashton Daniels, as you saw them?
Ashton's a true freshman. He's a heck of a player and a heck of an athlete. Mitch It's an athletic, physical, tough kid that has some very, very unique skills. Both of them had their moments. Both of them turned the ball over. So there's the learning that has to happen on the fly, and as best we can, try to mitigate that learning process from hurting us. But Ashton had 3 or 4 really impressive runs. Nice throw to Mitch, come down there on an early drive, first drive. Mitch had some really nice runs, had some really big pass pickups also, some blitz pickups. For a guy 3 weeks ago who's playing safety, for him to learn the pass protection schemes and come in and didn't make a mistake all day, assignment-wise. That's impressive. I was putting a lot on a young man, and he's accepted the challenge. And this week, anecdote, Coach, our running backs room, Coach Gould, just rattled off a list of questions. And, Mitch answered every single one. It was right on every single one. And that's just saying a lot about him. And he's going to get better. He's going to improve. He's going to get better. There's a lot to work with there. It's almost unfair to a certain degree to put that on his shoulders right now. But we didn't get into this sport, and we don't live our lives looking for what's fair and what's not fair. We have to respond to the situations we're presented with and be at our best. So Mitch is going to work hard. He's going to come back and learn even more this week. I'm not sure if Brendan Barrow's going to make it back. So he may need to pretty much go the distance. Shield did some single back stuff for us also. We had to continue to get Shield Taylor ready. And, Ashton's got to do kind of a dual role for us. Did a little bit of running back, some gun run quarterback stuff. So, I anticipate him playing some more pure running back. We're just going to need him to do that. But like I said, it's not on those guys really. It's on our guys that are leaders on the offensive side that need to pick us up.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned 4 defensive starters on that first drive. Pardon my ignorance, I knew Miezon and Fields and Demooney. Who was the 4th?
Ricky, Levani, Patrick Fields, and I'm losing.
I think you mentioned Mangum Farrar. Did he not play?
Yeah,
Did he not play at all?
He didn't play today.
Yeah.
He didn't play today. Yeah, so we're out 4 guys. And Kendall Williamson was the 4th, a safety. Yeah, so today, of our 11 starters, we played with 5. Like I said, our backups got to be ready, and they got to go, and we got to get them ready. That's my dad's longtime defensive coordinator, and he always used to talk about just have to be strong up the middle. And we've been much better in the last month against the run. Our defensive line has come along, played well, but a big part of it has been our inside linebackers also have played better in the last month than they played the first month of the season. But now we're without all 3 of those guys that take a lot of snaps for us. And then part of our stopping the run last month also has been Patrick Fields. We've dropped him down in there in the briar patch, and he's made a lot of tackles, a lot of one-on-one tackles in space. So to miss all 3 of our inside linebackers and our strong safety, and then losing Kendall also, that's the middle of our defense. And it's don't wonder why we had issues right up the middle for a good chunk of the game.
Any update on the 3 guys who were hurt in the first 2 plays and on Tremaine?
Not right now. Yeah, I think Bryson's okay. He was hobbled a little bit, but he's not injured.
And lastly, what can you tell, or what did you tell your team after a game like this?
I won't share everything, but I'm just appealing to their pride. There are things that we can't do anything about, injuries we can't do anything about, but the things that we can do things about, that's what I'm holding accountable for, and hold myself accountable for, to prepare the team to go out there and play much better than we did. And we had our opportunities, but especially on the offensive side, you can't turn the ball over twice and expect to beat a team that you're comparable to. And we turned it over 4 times. Not to mention a couple times on third down where we had unblocked guys going after the quarterback. So there were just a lot of things that we could have done better that would have helped us have the opportunity. So not going to harp on the team for the things that we can't control, but there are things that we can control.
Just on the 4 fumbles, obviously you guys work on ball security, so I'm not going to ask about that, but how much of those fumbles were a function of good pokeouts, and how much did you think were a function of you guys just not securing it well enough?
That's all on us. It's all on us. Defensively, hey, they put their helmet on the ball, they strip at it. That's just part of playing the game. And it hurt us a little bit early in the season, but to have, receiver, tight end, and 2 runners, a quarterback and a running back, all put the ball on the ground. We actually had 5. We only lost 4. Not to mention, the ball security in the return game. Just lack of attention to detail. Those are things that we just do every single day. And as much as positivity sometimes is contagious, sometimes negativity is contagious. And the hard part is, for guys like Ben and Elijah, they feel that pressure to make something happen. And sometimes when you try to do too much, that's when you really falter. And, sometimes it's time to go down. Hold on to the ball. You're surrounded by the other team. Go down. Take the positive gain. Let's get on to the next play. Guys are just trying too hard sometimes to make something happen because of the situation we're in. So that's one of the big things we have to guard against.
Being that the passing game is going to be so important the last 3 games, do you guys plan on changing up the play calling or maybe the looks that you guys are giving, considering you only have sounds like 1.5 running backs left?
We're going to try to do whatever it takes. And I don't know what you mean by changing up play calling. Like I said, the plays that we didn't go backwards, the drives we didn't go backwards, we marched around the field and scored. We had a lot of explosive plays that we missed throws on, or we missed catches, or they went off our fingertips, or we caught the ball and fumbled. So, like I said, there's a lot of things we could do a lot about. We've got some outstanding players that are still healthy that we have to rely on and lean on to give us an opportunity to win some games.
Coach, you keep talking about pride, and that's one thing you keep saying over and over. How do you pick up the team's pride going into a hostile environment next week?
By stripping away all the excuses. Don't care who's injured. Don't care about situations. Not trying to get overly complicated in things that we do. We got to block. We got to throw. We got to catch. We got to run. Defensively, we got to be in our gaps. We got to fight to get off blocks. We got to tackle guys and get them on the ground. So pride is in those things that we know that we can do, and we need to go out there and execute.
Just thoughts on Jason Thompson's performance in the return game. Had a 10-yard punt return and then 151 total yards on the kick return. Just how do you feel he's sort of adjusted to having to step up in that department?
Yeah, he's in that category of guys that are true freshmen. If you look, we got a lot of them out there. He had an outstanding senior year down in Southern California. He's quick, he's explosive, he's active. Didn't anticipate him playing this year, but he's thrust into duty and mostly positive. You saw his quickness, you saw his acceleration. Kickoff return, honestly, is about that combination of patience and explosion. So he does a really good job of catching the ball and not running full speed and setting up the blocks and then hitting it. The first one, he was setting up blocks and then somebody slipped off and tackled him, so it looked like he's not really running, but he's setting up those blocks. And a couple of those times now we got those blocks set up. You saw his acceleration. Really great on that punt return. He's only going to get bigger, faster, stronger as he gets older here. And at the same time, as great as his day was on a numbers side, dropped a kickoff return and caught a ball inside the 5 on punt. So young guys sometimes make young mistakes. We've got to have them grow through those. And with our injuries, that's what's going to happen. And we're going to play some guys out there that are not used to playing a lot, and they got to go out there and execute. And we just have to know that we're going to live through some mistakes. It's just going to happen. We got to live through some mistakes. But the guys that go out there, we got to put ourselves in a position to win.
Talk about pride amongst the players. I'm sure there's pride amongst the coaching staff as well. How are you and the staff handling all this and feeling about all this right now?
It's an interesting question. Not a bad question. It's an interesting question. I don't know how to answer because we do what we need to do. I mean, that's the job. That's the profession. You know, you're on a 5-game win streak. Hey, there are things that you have to avoid. You have to avoid complacency. You have to avoid guys thinking that they've arrived. You go through a difficult patch. You got to find a way to get the guys going and lean on your strengths and cover up your weaknesses. Get the guys active and ready to go. You have injuries. You just have to prepare the next group of guys to go out there and play. It's a delicate balance between being understanding, right? I can go in there and just rip all the guys that were 3rd and 4th string that had to play today. That serves no purpose. Got to correct them. Got to have them learn from their mistakes. Got to have them grow and be better next week than they are this week. Our guys, the aggressive had some great efforts today. And we got to example those and lean on those. And just a ton of things that we either have to throw out or do better. And that's what we have to do. So, you know, I don't spend time I don't wallow. I don't spend time in disappointment and loss. I don't spend time in exhilaration, right? We win a game, I'm the same as when we lose a game. It is a data point. Winning and losing is what happens, and it's all about what you do next. So that's my mentality. That's the job, honestly, and that's how we, you know, got some things turned around when we had a losing streak there, and everything looked bad. We came back and played really well against Oregon State. We came back and won 2 games in a row. Now we've lost 2 games in a row. So now we got to retool. We got to come back, find out the things that we're ready to do, things that we can do with the guys that are healthy, put the pressure on the guys that are our best players, and let them know that we need you to make plays, but we also have to stay within their wheelhouse to make sure that we're being reasonable with what they're asking them to do. We got to cut down on our mistakes, cut down on our turnovers. So that's the job. You know, how I feel about it is inconsequential. The staff and I just need to be ready to do whatever it takes to get our team prepared to put ourselves in a position to win next week.
Coach, this wasn't probably the scenario you imagined, getting the young guys in this manner, but how important is it for them to be able to get these live game reps, even though it's not really like a schedule that you had, I guess?
Yeah, it's not what we wanted to have, but, you know, to have Ernest Cooper, because of injury, have to get the reps that he's gotten. You know, we think Ernest is going to be special. Teva Tafiti got a chance to get in there today. We think he's going to be really good too. Would have loved to have those guys redshirt and not play this year, but we had to put them out there. You know, Jason Thompson. You know, all the receivers and DBs talked about him all summer. You know, as a kid coming in, like, okay, this kid's going to be good one of these days. You know, when he gets the opportunity down the road, it just happens to be these last couple weeks. So. Things that we didn't want to do, but much like my answer to Troy, like we can't shy away from them. We got young guys got to go out there and play now. They got to go out there and help us. You know, we didn't anticipate Ashton having to do this much. He's got to now. But he's a talented, explosive athlete that has some nice touch. You saw in that pass he made to Mitch. This guy's a quarterback. He's not just a runner. So a lot of young guys are thrust into playing right now. And that's just what the season has presented us.
And then to follow up on the Ashton part, do you think for the sake of necessity that he will get more carries as a running back, or we'll maybe see him and Tanner on the field more together?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where Brendan Barrow is. But the combination of Ashton and you know, also had meant to get Shield Taylor some carries today too. Just didn't work out that way. We got behind too quickly. But those two guys are gonna have to step up for us as runners. And Ashton, you know, continue to do his dual role. Have to play some at running back and play some at our quarterback. Do some of those quarterback runs and, you know, throw a couple passes out of that too. So everything's on the table for everybody that we have. We'll see how Brennan is. We may need to add another person to the running back room. And I don't know where that's going to come from. So no, it's not going to come from the linebacker room. But we got to retool. We go back, and you know, there's no use in complaining about it and wallowing in it. We got to look and see who we have. You know, Sunday evening, try and put the plan together for the week, and then get after it.
We have time for one more.
Thanks. I just wanted to get your thoughts on the performance of Cameron Ward today, just what he did well and just the difficulty of stopping him, because he obviously had a big part in their success today. Just wanted to ask about what they did well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a dual threat quarterback. He's very athletic. He got out of trouble multiple times. For quarterbacks like him, it's not just the total yards, right? He had 40 yards rushing, but 2 of those should have been negative plays. We had him dead to rights for TFLs, and he got out. We kept some pressure on him, you know, and he missed some throws because we had guys in his face, but he also stepped up and made some big-time throws. We know he's a very good quarterback. He's set records in Incarnate Ward and has been a good quarterback for them this year.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll wrap up today with quarterback Tanner McKee. We'll take the questions for Tanner.
Since there is so little availability in the running back room, how does that change your preparation, being that you're probably going to have to throw the ball 50, 60 times a game now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm up to the challenge. Our O-line and receivers are up to the challenge. We know when things like that happen, there's going to be more pressure, there's going to be more weight in our shoulders, but we just have to take it on. I thought Mitch did a great job knowing his assignment. Picking up blitzers was huge. Doing his job, I thought he did an unbelievable job, especially for only having like a week's preparation and being a safety before then. But yeah, we know as an offense, me personally, that I'm going to have more on my plate. Might have to tell him a few times what his responsibilities are, what he's going to do pass protection wise, and then go out for a different route or things like that. But yeah, I just think it puts more weight on our shoulders that we're going to have to handle, and we're up for the challenge for it.
Higgins and Urasic had a couple of fumbles that were costly. Just what's your message to, as a leader on this team, what's your message to your teammates when they make mistakes like that? What do you do to kind of help them shake that off? And just kind of what's your message to guys when things like that happen?
I mean, yeah, they're both big-time players. It's definitely not something that's been a consistent problem for them, but I mean, the details are important. When you're in traffic, having it high and tight, both those guys can get hit by 2, 3, 4 guys because they're so hard to get taken down. And so teams are going to rip out the ball. It's definitely not something that's going to happen in the future. And I know that they've made the change, and it's going to be more of an emphasis for them. But yeah, they're just really good players that have a lot of guys trying to take them down at the same time. So that's just got to be a point of emphasis for us, is to keep the ball high and tight.
Tanner, coach a few minutes ago said he needs the best players, particularly on offense, to play better. Mm-hmm. He also said that he doesn't want you guys to try to do too much. He thought maybe a couple of fumbles might have been guys not accepting, a 10-yard reception and trying to get a 12, and that's how you fumble. How do you balance knowing you got to do more, particularly with the running back situation as it is, without trying to do too much more?
Yeah, I think just doing things that we've done in practice. I mean, it was honestly probably offensively one of our best weeks of practice. And I think we just have to kind of put more confidence into that instead of thinking, oh my gosh, like we're down by a score or 2 possessions. There's no play that we're going to run that's going to get us 14 points in one play. We're going to have to go one play at a time, march the ball down the field, trust our defense, get the ball back, and go score again. So I think just realizing that football is a long game. It's a process. You're going to have to march down the field. You're not going to get all the points back in one play. and honestly trusting the guys around you.
Position and how things went for you guys out there offensively today.
Yeah, I mean, field position's huge in a game like that, but I mean, offensively, we're gonna have to move the ball. We're gonna be backed up a few times, and so we're gonna have to move the ball regardless. Had a few things. I mean, I just feel like we just made like some mistakes that we usually don't make in crucial times, whether that be in the red zone or backed up. Maybe it was a release or a missed assignment or things like that that just don't seem like a really big difference. But I mean, when you're in the red zone or when you're backed up on your own 10-yard line, I mean, a yard or two making a guy miss and busting a big play is a momentum changer. It's a game changer. So I think just tightening up the screws on those things.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Yeah, I just want to ask about Ben Urasic. He got 8 receptions for 90 yards, had the fumble, but as a whole, he got going a lot more today, had a lot more yardage. How nice was it to kind of get him in a rhythm, and him having the touchdown last week? Seems like he's starting to get into more of a flow, which is a good thing.
Yeah, Ben's a stud. I mean, we like him going up the middle when it's too high. We like him when it's man one-on-one. We like him when they're going to back out and he can find a hole. I feel like he knows football really well, can find holes. A lot of times we just give him the freedom, like, hey, this is your assignment. You can take your angle high, you can take it short, you can sit, like, do your thing, because he knows football very well. And so he's a very valuable asset for us. I mean, you can see from this game, the last couple of games, just on 3rd down, he's had a few really big pickups, tough contested catches, a few times that were close to being PI, but he makes those contested catches, and he's a great athlete.
With 3 games remaining, what is the team's mindset moving forward, and what are you guys thinking about next week heading to Utah?
I mean, we have to turn the page and believe in everybody in our locker room and in our facilities. Utah's a great team, very hostile environment. Know it's going to be cold, know it's going to be loud, and we're just going to have to believe in the guys to our left and to our right. We're knowing we're going to be an underdog, especially after today's performance, and we're probably not going to have a lot of people betting that Stanford's going to pull up a big upset, but we know that in our room, in our locker room, we definitely can. We have the capability, we have the potential, we have the talent. We just have to go out and execute, and like Coach said, play our game.
Thank you, Tanner.
Thank you.